Case study of intellectual property. What is the major form of intellectual property? They have three form of intellectual property, major form of intellectual property. The first is copyrights, patent, and trademarks. So what is copyright? Copyright is a form of intellectual property, a set of exclusive rights awarded to a copyright holder or owner for an original creative works of authorship in tangible medium expression. Is a legal term to use describe the rights that creators have over their literary artistic works. Works covered by copyright range from books, music, painting, sculpture, and films, to computer programs, databases, advertisement, maps, and technical drawings. We have some example of copyright works. Example of copyright works about artistic, computing, and businesses. In artistic work, we have novel, poem, and photograph. In computing, we have computer software application, software code for a website, software code that makes or manage a database. In business, we have database, annual reports, and business proposal. So what is patent? Patent is an exclusive right granted for a new, inventive, and useful product. It can take the form of a new product, process, or technical improvement to existing invention. Patent is the granting of property rights by sovereign authority to an inventor. This grant provides the inventor exclusive rights to the patented process, design, or invention of designated period in exchange for a comprehensive disclosure of invention. They are a form of incorporeal rights. We have great 8 wonders of the world of patent. The first is light bulbs. The electric light bulbs is perhaps one of the most famous patented invention known to humankind. It was awarded to the Thomas Alva Edison in the year 1878. However, an English inventor called Joseph Swan had received a patent for a similar product in England at the same time. Later, the two joined hands from Edison and Swan in United Electric Lights Company. Edison had 1,093 patents, including the phonograph, the precursor of gramophone and the record player, and the dictaphone. Next is the internal combustion engine. Today, it is possible to imagine how we would function without cars, bus and train. These vehicles operate through an internal combustion engine. The first internal combustion engine was patented in 1823 by Samuel Brown and used to pump water. Nicolaus Otto patented the comprehensive charges for four-stroke engine in 1876, and the two-stroke engine was patented by Carl Benz in 1879, a definite boon of movement. Next is the telephone. The first telephone was invented and patented by Alexander Graham Bell in 1876. Bell went on to found the American Telephone and Telegraph Company. Later, the company expanded to control telecommunication and became world's most significant in the industry and is an industry beyond today. The next one is the computer. The computer is the first modern computer to given a patent was the electronic numeric integrator and computer, or ENIAC. The patent went to John Macaulay and J. Presper Eckert in 1973. However, a U.S. court invalidated the patent over the claim that the Atomsoft Berry computer, or ABC, developed in the 1940s came first. However, this computer was programmable, and one of the first commercial successful computer was the Apple II, which was invented by Steve Wozniak and patented by Apple Computers Incorporated in 1977. Next is Bluetooth. Despite the popularity of mobile phones having Wi-Fi connectivity, people still of Bluetooth as an option for data transfer. Invented in 1994 by Zap Harsten, the Bluetooth technology allows nearby electronic devices to connect using low-power, ultra-high frequency waves. Today, the Bluetooth is used in the most every handheld device for multimedia transfer and reception. Next is maglev. Among the most interesting patent invention was the maglev, or magnetic levitation, used to propel trains. The first patent of maglev went to the Brookhaven National Laboratory in US in 1968. Its researcher James Powell and Gordon Danby came up with the concept by using of magnets to propel trains. Next is the FireEye malware software. The computer viruses are a bane to the information technology or IT industry as well as to users. The first system is to detect such viruses such as FireEye malware protection system, which was patented by Asher Aziz in the March of 2005. And the last is the Google PageRank. Another famous example of the patent is Google PageRank. Larry Page developed in 1998. It gets its name from his surname Page. It calculates the importance of web page by counting the number and quality of link attached to it. Identifiable example from across the world demonstrate the critical leap of patents in the world. Patents give individuals exclusive right to their invention, and through their rights, you have a strong market position. This leads to fueling the fire for innovation. Finally, patents provide a positive imaging for your enterprises. So what is trademark? Trademark is a word or a group of word, sign, symbol, logo, or combination thereof the identities and differentiate the source of the goods or services of one entity from those another. Trademark is a sign capable of distinguishing the goods or services of one enterprise from those of one another enterprise. Trademarks are protected by intellectual property rights. And the term trademarks refers to recognizable insignia, phrases, word, or symbol that denotes the specific product and legally differentiate it from all other products of its kind. Trademarks exclusively identifies a product as belonging to a specific company and recognize the company's ownership of the brand. Trademarks are generally considered a form of intellectual property and may not be registered. We have 5 classic example of trademarks. First is name. Coco Chanel is a perfect example of name that is a trademark. The famous designer Coco Chanel built her successful fashion empire using her name. People knew that if they were to purchase Coco Chanel product, they were going to receive quality craftsmanship. Next is symbol. The McDonald Golden Arch is a classic example of the symbol trademark. Golden arches align interstate highway to alert customer when there is a McDonald's located at the next exit. There is no mention of the name McDonald on these golden arches. McDonald does not need to. The general public, by and large, as well as their customer, know that the golden arch represent McDonald. Their golden arch symbol clearly differentiate them from other fast food and restaurants. Next is catchphrases. A catchphrases that is identifiable to a person or company that is used sell merchandises can be trademarked. Donald Trump's "You're fired" it is a perfect example of trademark catchphrases. Donald Trump used his catchphrases on his reality television show The Apprentice. Next is figure or mascot. A classic example of trademark character is Gecko Talking Gecko. Gecko Talking Gecko was featured in many commercial advertising Gecko's insurance. The gecko became a mascot to the company. This talking lizard is now recognized by 1,000 of American households nationwide. And the last is lyrics. A songwriter's lyrics are trademarks. Bob Seger and Silver Bullet Band made a hit song "Like a Rock" in 1986. In 1991, this song helped Chevrolet bounce back from the near-bankrupt situation. The "Like a Rock" commercials were so successful that these commercials were used for over 10 years. Chevrolet paid Seger royalties for license his trademarks "Like a Rock." And the patents pro and cons. Patent pro: strongly enforceable, fairly broad rights. Relatively clear rights allows easily transaction. Can investment in innovation. The cons is expensive and time-consuming to obtain. Enforcement can be costly, time-consuming. Screening possess means obtain rights is not certain. Term may not be long enough to recoup investment. Trademarks. Pro. Relative and easy to obtain. Can protect investment in branding, product quality. Good at protecting against knockoff. And the cons is relative narrow rights. Enforcement can be costly, time-consuming. Screening on process means obtaining rights is not certain. And copyrights. The pro is it is very to obtain. Good at protecting creativity works and entertainment. Good at protecting against exact copying. And the cons is quiet narrow rights, important depends, and enforcement can be costly but less so than patent. And we have the strategy chart. Form of intellectual property. Copyright. The length of protection is very low. Expense to obtain is low. The width of right is low, and types of coverage is very narrow or work. And the patent have very high of protection, and patent have very expense to obtain and high width of right, and the type of coverage is broad and invention. And the trademark is a high length of protection and high of expenses to obtain but low at width of light, and the types of coverage is narrow or marks. Privacy. So what is privacy? Privacy is the right to be let alone or freedom from interference or intrusion. Information privacy is the right to have some control over how your personal information is collected and used. Privacy is a fundamental human right that underpin freedom of association, thought and expression, as well as freedom from discrimination. But it's hard to define. Different countries over the different views as so individual. And privacy is a product of norms, activities, and legal protection. Privacy is about respecting the desire of individuals were compatible with the aims of large community. Privacy is not just about what people expect but about what they desire. And last is privacy is not one thing but a cluster of many distinct yet relative things. Privacy involves the control, use, and disclosure of personal information. It's involved issues such as surveillance, online ghost, identity theft, data security, and online behavioral advertising, big data, access to record, use of cloud computing services, and much more. What is the importance of privacy? Privacy gives us the power to choose our thoughts and feelings and who will share them with. Privacy is to protect our information we do not want to share publicly, such as health and personal finance. Privacy helps to protect our physical safety. if our real-time location data is private. Privacy helps protected as as our businesses against entities we depend on or that are more powerful than us. And what is civil liberties? Civil liberties are the rights guaranteed by the Constitution. They have been described as a national right which are inherent to each person, while they are commonly referred as a rights. Civil liberties actually operate as restraint on how the government can treat its citizens. And civil liberties are guarantees and freedom that governments commit to the abridge either by constitution, legislation, and judicial interpretation without due processes. Though the scope of term differs between countries, civil liberties may include the freedom of conscience, freedom of press, freedom of religion, freedom of expression, and freedom of assembly. The right to security and liberty, freedom of speech, and the privacy, and the right to equal treatment under the law and due process, the right of fair trials, and the right of life. Over the civil liberties include the rights to own property, the right of defend oneself, and right to bodily integrity. Within the distinction between civil liberties and other types of liberty, distinction exists between positive liberty and positive rights, and negative liberty and negative rights. What are the examples of civil liberties? Freedom in religion, freedom of speech, freedom of press, and guarantee of a fair and unbiased trial. In freedom of religion or religious liberty is a principle that supports the freedom of one individual or community in the public or private to manifest religion or belief, teaching, practice or worship and observance. Freedom of speech is a principle that supports the freedom of an individual or community to articulate their opinion and ideas without fear and retaliation, censorship, and legal sanction by the government. Freedom of the press or freedom of the media is the fundamental principle that communication and expression through various media, including printed electronic media, especially published materials, should be considered a right to be expressed freely. Such as freedom implies the absence of interference from an overarching state. Its preservation may be sought through constitution or other legal protection and security. The guarantee of a fair guarantees the rights of criminal defendant, including the rights to a public trial without unnecessary delay, the right to a lawyer, the right to an impartial jury, and the right to know who your accuser are and the nature of the charges and evidence against you. And last is unbiased trial. If you are accused of a crime, you have the right of fair trial to determine whether you are innocent or guilty. This is an internationally recognized human rights. Fair trials help establish the truth and are vital for everyone involved in the case. They are a cornerstone of democracy, helping to ensure fair and just society and limiting abuse by the governments and state authority. Privacy and the law is the body of law that deals with the regulating, storing, and using of personal identifiable information, personal healthcare information, and financial information of individuals, which can be collected by government, public, and private organization or other individual. It is also applies in the commercial sector and to things like trade secrets and liabilities that directors, officer, and employee have when handling sensitive information. And how technology affect our privacy. Information technology has opened up society and decreased privacy. Privacy continues to diminish as technological innovation and progressive. Privacy is the right to be left alone and free from surveillance and unreasonable personal intrusion. Is the aspect of information technology or IT that deals with the ability an organization or individual has to determine what data in computer system can be shared with the third parties. And you have freedom to express yourself online and to access information and the opinion and expression of others. This include political speech, views and religion opinions, and expression that we are favorable received or regarded as inoffensive, but also those that may offend, shock, or disturb others. Freedom of expression refers to the ability of an individual or group individuals to express their belief, thoughts, ideas, and emotion about different issues free from government censorship. You have the freedom to express yourself online and to access information and opinion and expression to others. And the article section 4, no law shall be passed abridging the freedom of speech, expression, or of the press, or of the right of the people peaceable and assemble and petition the government for redress or grievance. Putik di.